The show starts off with a young guy, Akira Tsubaki, dreaming about the girl he wants to be with for the first time. However, he is unsure who is it going to be. With these thoughts lingering in his mind, he wakes up to prepare for school. He's living with his sister, and before he heads off, she hands him his lunch. As they are talking in the class, their teacher enters and informs them about the new transfer student joining in today. He instructs everyone to be nice to her since she is from afar, and her introduction is but a few words. Urabe Mikoto, a classic emo girl, sits right beside Akira's seat, as instructed by the teacher, and the other tells her that she is free to ask him whatever she has in mind. Urabe doesn't pay much attention to him and sits there. After the class is over, Akira is greatly surprised that she is taking a nap there on her very first day and thinks she is some weirdo. The other girls greet her and want to share lunch with her, but she has her plans of sleeping and excuses herself because she is too tired. The maths class is underway and everybody is bored. Suddenly, the silence is disturbed as Urabe bursts out laughing and falls off her chair. Everyone is astonished at this, and the teacher asks about the reason for her laughter, though she doesn't explain and just makes an excuse that it was a personal thought that made her laugh. From that day onward, everybody started calling her a weirdo, and since she would often sleep during the break, she made no friends at all. One day, Akira forgets his lunch back at school, and as he returns to pick it up, he finds Urabe sleeping there. As he wakes her up, the two meet eyes, and Akira is amazed at her cuteness. She is about to head out with a drooling mouth when Akira points that out, and she wipes it. As she leaves, Akira finds some of the drool on her desk and decides to taste it. He is weirded out by this and quickly goes his way. Later that night, he dreams about Urabe holding his hand and showing him around a strange yet beautiful city. He doesn't recognize the place, but even after waking up, he remembers each of the buildings clearly. The following day, during his track and field activities, Akira suddenly collapses, and the other students take him to the infirmary. Urabe watches from afar and seems worried about him. Days pass, and his fever doesn't go down. Even the doctors are confused about what might be happening to him, and Urabe decides to visit him. As she enters the room, she asks about his well-being, and he is surprised that someone who barely talked to him decided to visit him. She tells him that the reason he is sick is that he tasted her saliva, and he is actually lovesick. Akira doesn't understand this, but after she explains it, he realizes that he is actually addicted to it, and even a single day without her saliva might be enough to make him fall sick again. Wow, that escalates pretty quickly. The following day he attends school, and strangely enough, Urabe asks that they go back together. As they are about to part ways, she gives him a taste of her saliva again, and informs him that they will be doing this every day. Akira is amazed that something like this is happening to him, and days pass while the two continue their activity. Akira realizes that he has fallen for her and decides to confess his love to her. However, she isn't someone who would accept the confession so easily and asks him to prove his love for her. As he reaches for a kiss, she stops him and demands that he come up with something more original. Akira takes out a picture of a girl from his wallet and informs her that she is his first crush that met his eyes, and to prove his love, he tears it apart. Seeing this, Urabe is impressed and asks whether he is a virgin. Akira is taken aback by her question, but responds that he is, and she is relieved at hearing this because it is the same case with her. She explains the reason behind her laughter on the first day, and Akira doesn't have any idea what is wrong with either of them. Urabe accepts his proposal and suddenly starts drooling saliva out of her mouth. She notifies the other that it just happens whenever she is happy, and before leaving, she shouts out that starting today, the two are in a relationship. This is the first time Akira has heard something like this, and his heart is blooming with joy. Akira and the other guys in class are rating the girls, and when it's Urabe's turn, he shyly decides to ignore that part. Afterward, he is with his friend Ueno, and he asks what a person should do before getting close to their lover. To make his statement less suspicious, Akira explains that it is just a scenario, and the other advises that they should hold hands while they're out. With this in mind, Akira reaches for his hand to hold hers, and she immediately denies him. He is surprised that she wouldn't want to, and the other informs him that there is simply no reason for the two to be doing this. The following day, he once again asks Ueno about the advice, and he starts suspecting that he is onto something, but still advises that they should start communicating, like hobbies and stuff. Once again, as they are about to part ways, Akira initiates the conversation and asks about her hobbies. She informs him that she is interested in kirigami, and spends most of her time doing so. She picks out a piece of paper and hands it to him, and cuts it in the shape of a flower. Akira glances at her underwear and wonders why someone would keep their scissors with them, even so far as to bring them to school. Akira asks whether it bothered her to show her panties like that to him, but she doesn't mind as long as it is him, her boyfriend. Later that night, Akira continuously wonders about the scissor in her panties, even asking his sister whether this is something common for girls, though fortunately she doesn't hear him and he gets away with the question. He has a dream about her that day due to constant thinking. The following morning, he once again asks his friend what a couple should do before communicating, and like any sane man, he responds that they should greet each other first. Now the other starts wondering whether he truly got into a relationship. Akira recalls having greeted Urabe on her first day and believes that he has gone through the initial and now needs to work on the communication part. On their way back, Urabe offers him candy, which he denies, and the other goes on her way. He realizes that she didn't offer him her saliva and wonders whether she is mad. She suddenly returns and takes the candy out of her mouth into his. Akira suddenly grabs her to make her feel attached to him, but the other doesn't take it very lightly and responds in a rather brutal way, though she does advise that he should inform her next time before grabbing her unaware. The following day, Ueno hands him 2 tickets to a movie. Initially, he planned on going together with Akira, but since something came up, he decided it would be best for the other to take someone else with him. As they return from the school, he asks Urabe whether she would go out with him, and the other informs him that she has some plans for the weekend and won't be able to enjoy her time out. Akira's heart shatters hearing this, and he asks whether they're really in a relationship. To prove her love for him, Urabe takes him to an abandoned house and tells him to close his eyes. She puts off her clothes and gives him a taste of her drool. Unlike usual, this time Akira feels more intense and aroused. The other informs him that this is how she has been feeling while letting him suck her finger. After they return, Urabe tells him that he is lucky not to have opened his eyes, otherwise God knows what might have happened to him. Hearing this, he is glad that something didn't happen. Akira has a wet dream that night, and after telling Urabe about seeing her in his dream, she decides to taste his saliva. She immediately finds out about that and rushes off in embarrassment. Akira is left speechless as he had never expected she would find out about his dream in this way. Akira walks into the classroom and surprisingly finds his friend Ueno kissing another girl from their class. The other instructs him to keep quiet about this since it would be an embarrassment if the word got out. On their way back from school, Akira informs Urabe about this and she takes him to a park, where the two try to finish their assignment. Suddenly, Urabe asks whether he wants to kiss her. After he responds that he does, she pulls a tube out and fills it with her saliva. Honestly, what is up with this kink? She instructs him to taste this before going to bed. With her words in his mind, Akira heads off to bed early and has a dream about her. He informs her about this and she takes him to a side where she once more asks whether he truly wants a kiss. Akira realizes that kissing is something that should be done only when the two completely understand each other's feelings, and since they haven't gotten that far, he tells her that he would like to wait, and Urabe feels the same. At the school, they clean the class, and Urabe goes out to throw the trash. Another student follows her and tells her that he would like to talk to her. After going through the initials, he asks her to go out with him, and she is stunned. As the two are about to part ways after school, Akira asks her about the boy, and she informs him that the other confessed to him. Akira believes that she must have rejected him right away, but as she tells him that she instructed the other to wait for tomorrow for her answer, he is astonished. Akira starts worrying that maybe she intends to ditch him and doesn't sleep at all. The following day, Urabe gives the other guy a taste of her saliva, and after he doesn't feel anything, she rejects him. On their usual route, Urabe informs Akira that she rejected the guy since the way he reacts and the way her other classmates reacted are quite different. As a present, she gives him her undies and tells her that he is her boyfriend starting today. Ueno informs Akira about the PE classes and tells him that everyone will be in their uniforms. His girlfriend suddenly arrives, and the two start eating together on Urabe's desk. The two are excited about seeing their girlfriends in their sports costumes. However, when the day arrives, they are in a separate facility. On the other hand, Urabe gets hurt during a race, and Oka, Ueno's girlfriend, takes her to the nurse's office. However, the nurse isn't present, prompting Oka to tend to the other. After everything is done, Oka asks to be her friend, but Urabe declines since she doesn't need any friends. The other informs her that she has been observing her and found out about Tsubaki. She wanted to get near him too, but it seemed problematic, so she decided to approach Urabe. As she is about to leave, Urabe notices that her knee is also injured and suspects that she tasted her drool, which transfers her physical and mental state to the other. She cuts her own hand, and after she starts bleeding as well, Urabe informs her about everything. Oka realizes why she is so close to Tsubaki and tells her that if she ever changes her mind, the two can become friends. Urabe accidentally transfers her wounds over to Akira and instructs him to tend to them. The following day, Ueno is looking forward to lunch together with Oka, but she leaves off with Urabe and lets her taste her own saliva. Urabe is mesmerized by the taste, and the other realizes that she hasn't kissed her boyfriend yet. She informs her that the taste of kissing is even sweeter, and the two start having lunches together from then on, while the boys are surprised that they get along so well. While the girls have swimming class, the boys are playing football, and Ueno intentionally kicks the ball in their direction to have a peep at them. After seeing his girlfriend up close in a swimsuit, he returns, and the others rate her. When it's Akira's turn, he is instructed to rate Urabe, but as he is about to kick the ball, Urabe afar catches him off guard, and he trips over. On their way back, it's too hot, and the two decide to feel some fresh air. Akira notices a drop of sweat on her neck, and suddenly the rain starts. Since they don't have an umbrella with either of them, they decide to wait for the rain to be over and chat. Urabe lets Akira lick her arm, and with just a taste of her sweat, Akira imagines her wearing a bikini at the beach. He is amazed that the two can feel not only connected through the drool, but also the sweat. Urabe informs him that she loves going to the beach and swimming there. Hearing this, Akira also starts liking the sea and tells her that they should visit the sea together since they won't have anything else to do. The other agrees and leans her head on his shoulders. Summer arrives and the two meet up daily. Akira feels that it is time he makes the sea plan with her and asks her out. However, she has to visit her dad and she promises him that they will go out next week. As the final day arrives, Akira is so excited that he oversleeps and barely makes it in time. He notices that she has gone a little tanned, which makes her even more dazzling. At the beach, he continuously gazes at her bikini and she shows him the tan line made by her scissors. He immediately starts bleeding but controls himself. Afterward, they decide to eat and Urabe pays for all the stuff. On their way back on the train, Urabe tastes his drool and is embarrassed to find out what he has been thinking about. The other wants to see her tan lines again and she promises that he will get to glance at the site once more next year. Akira is out shopping and runs into Oka. She insists that the two sit down together for a drink and Akira agrees after much convincing. She calls his friend Ueno by his first name, and Akira is surprised that they are that deep in love with each other. The following day, Akira asks Ueno whether his girlfriend had talked about him yesterday, and upon receiving a negative answer, he breathes a sigh of relief. Outside, Oko approaches Urabe and informs her about the meeting with Akira. When she reveals everything about it, she tastes her saliva and realizes that the other was imagining Akira calling her by her first name. Urabe is embarrassed at this and goes away. On their way back, Akira and Urabe decide to rest in a nearby park, and while Akira goes to buy a drink, the other falls asleep. After he arrives, he tries to wake her up, but since she is in a deep slumber, he slowly whispers her first name in her ear. She immediately wakes up, and Akira notices a smile on her face. Later that night, he has a dream about taking her picture while she is smiling, and after informing her about this, Akira demands that he take a picture of her. However, she doesn't want to smile and tells him that she is better the way she is. Akira runs into his childhood crush, Hayakawa, and she requests the two hang out for a coffee. As he is waiting for Urabe, he excuses himself and she tells him that they can go some other time. As he returns to the bridge, he finds Urabe waiting for him and clears his name before her. Upon asking whether she would have gotten mad over him hanging out with her, Urabe put her finger into his mouth and a stream of tears flowed out of his eyes. While she may not have been mad at him, going out with another person would have surely caused her sadness. After things get settled, Akira once more asks for a picture, and this time she agrees. And that brings us to the end of today's recap. Does Urabe have some secret power of understanding others through the taste of their drool? What do you guys think? What kind of a weird ability is that? But what do you guys think? Let us know in the comments. And for now, leave us a like and subscribe to Annie Recap for more awesome content like this, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace!